Hi everyone, I'm Laura and welcome to Book Bubbler. Today I have just a Friday Reads, just what I've been reading. I'm going to do a separate haul. There are a few that have been coming in and I've got a few more on their way, so I'll just do that separately. So this week I'm just going to talk about the books that I actually read. So first up, Wicked Sexy Liar by Christina Lauren. This is a best friend writing team. And this is the fourth in the, I think it's called Wicked Sexy series. I don't remember quite honestly. You should probably read them in order so as they go in order, you know everyone's backstories, you know who everyone is with and why they're with them, etc. So this is about London and Luke, and she is a surfer. She finished her degree. This is new adult romance. So she finished her degree and she bartends at night. She doesn't want anything serious. Her last boyfriend cheated on her after being together for several years, so she doesn't want anything serious. Luke is they call him a man whore. So he'll sleep with anything that moves essentially, and he's just a little bit out of college as well. And he runs into London. They have a one-night stand and he starts to feel stuff for her and she starts to feel stuff for him, and they're both like, no thank you, But they end up running into each other, and then they find out they have a common background of friends, and things go from there. They fall in love. I will say, if you've never read Christina Lauren before, and you're reading this Wicked Sexy series, or you're reading her Beautiful Bastard series, they're fairly explicit. It's not erotica, but she talks about sex. There's no fade to black. There's no, turning away. There's no skipping over stuff like you hear about everything. It's not gross details or anything. It's always about people falling in love. So every time someone has sex, in their earlier books at least, I haven't read their standalones yet, it's always to move everything forward, move the relationship forward, help each character develop individually and then together, obviously. So I really enjoyed this. This was so nice to get back to a really fun read. I have been making myself read stuff that I quote unquote should read and guilt reading things, and I should finish this first, and why am I doing this? And I was really happy. I let myself just enjoy a book, and this was delightful. So recommend it if you can handle romance and regular frank talk about people having sex and falling in love. But yeah, really enjoyable. Really liked it. Glad to have read it. Then next up, in my trusty book here, my reading tracker, I read A Little Fate by Nora Roberts on ebook. This is a collection of 3 novellas. They're each about 100 pages roughly. They're all fantasy. One of them, a prince is leaving the battlefield. He's almost dead and ends up going through all this snow, and he feels like he's in a weird time and wakes up in this castle where it's always winter, and falls in love with this woman who thinks she can't be in love and blah, whatever. Another one, let's see, I don't remember, but they're all fantasy romance. And it was really easy reading at night. I was happy to go to bed with my Kindle and read something breezy that was not murdery for a change. But enjoyable. I mean, Nora Roberts is always a good time. So 3 stars for this guy. I should say 4 stars for Wicked Sexy Liar. 3 stars for A Little Fate. There's another one she has that's similar to it called A Little Magic, and I think that is more, well, magic-y, I'm assuming. I don't know. But yeah, just good. Entertaining. Good. Okay. Next up, Showtime at the Apollo by Ted Fox. I found out about this from Shannon at That's So Poe. I will link her below. She's fantastic. So this is a very dense, information-packed book about the history of the Apollo. Essentially, every Black and African-American comedian, dancer, singer, musician, performer of any kind has been on the Apollo stage since the 1910, 1918? It wasn't the Apollo then, but the theater was always there. It was always a Black theater in Harlem. So you go through everything. Ted Fox talks to a man who worked there for decades and says, oh, finally someone's telling the story of the Apollo. You should talk to so-and-so. And it's like oh, what's her name? Whitney Houston's aunt, her, you know, her. And then, oh, you should talk to so-and-so, and you should talk to Sammy Davis Jr. And so he just talks to all these people out of nowhere, essentially, about the Apollo. And it's everything, jazz and swing and every kind of music genre. And it talks about like the good times and bad with the management and how they ran things backstage. And it is so much information. It's crazy, but it's also really fascinating, really, really interesting. I knew some things about the Apollo, how like its ups and downs and how it had evolved throughout the years, just generally speaking. But I had forgotten lots of specifics. I didn't know lots of little things, of course. None of the backstage stuff I didn't really know. So if you were interested in music history and in the Apollo especially, you can't go wrong with this graphic novel. It's just fantastic. It's also heavy. Give yourself time to like hoist it up and read it if you're reading a physical copy. But it's well worth the investment, and it will make you create a playlist on iTunes or Spotify or wherever you are of doo-wop and jazz and everything, because I have trolled through my 30-some thousand song iTunes library and made this really awesome playlist I've been listening to lately. It's really great. So, Showtime at the Apollo, 4 stars, really good. A little long. So, but good. Okay, and the last one I read this week is Road to Mercy by David Baldacci. This is my first Baldacci, and this is the start to a, so far, 2-book series. The second book just came out, I think, this spring, earlier this year, not sure. My neighbor, who reads, not a ton, but she reads, recommended this series to me, and I'm always recommending her books, so I thought it only fair I read one of hers. And this one was okay. Yeah, it was okay. It starts out with Atlee Pine. She's an FBI investigator in a one FBI investigator office not too far from the Grand Canyon, kind of in the middle of nowhere. And it opens with her visiting this prolific serial killer who raped and killed children primarily. And she is visiting him and asking him what he did to her twin sister, because when they were 6, someone broke into their house and no one ever saw her twin sister again. So her sister's name was Mercy. So she wants to find out what happened to her sister. That's what made her join the FBI in the first place. And so you start with that storyline, which is interesting. I mean, I was all in for it. And then she goes to investigate a missing person and a dead mule at the bottom of the Grand Canyon at a campsite, outside of a campsite, with some initials carved in it, which seems really strange. And then the plot goes from there into like your typical bad guy countries. If you were an action movie watcher in the 80s and 90s, and heck, even today a little bit, you can probably name 2 of the countries that are big bad people here. And there are people in our government that are trying to pull everything down and blame stuff on everybody else. So they just, these two countries destroy each other. And it's complicated, and they have to hide out. She and her secretary leave on vacation, and they drive across the country to DC, and they investigate a bunch of stuff there and nearly get killed like 7 times. And then they have to like sneaky fly back, and then more murder. And it got really weird, and it went to a place I didn't think it would go at the beginning. And the whole thing with her sister and the serial killer is just a bookend, because it's in the beginning and it ends with her talking to the guy again, but the middle is not anything to do with it. That's my home phone. Yes, I have a home phone. That's my mom. Ignore it. It'll stop in 2 rings. So it was fine. It's not bad writing. I was reading it really, really quickly just to get it over with. Like, come on. How many plots can be dropped in here? How many countries can be brought in? Oh, this bad guy was really this bad guy, and a twist here and a twist and a twist. And it was all like, okay, yeah. I was not enthralled. I was not thinking, ooh, what's going to happen now? And no way that's happening. I was sort of like, let's keep going. So I will read the second book in the series because I might as well. It just came out. And that's the one that my neighbor really wants to talk about with me anyways, is the second one. So I'll read that. I'll get on my hold list for it at the library. I'm not in a rush to read it. I don't know. Have you guys read Baldacci before? Again, this is my first time with him. I assumed he was like a legal thrillery action kind of guy, kind of like a cross between Clive Cussler and John Grisham. That's what I thought he was at in my head, but I've never read his stuff before. Is this typical for him or not typical for him? Yeah, I don't know. So it was okay. 2 stars, 2.5 maybe. If it would have been how I thought it would be at the beginning and end, I would have rated it probably a 3, but it just kind of got weird. Not bad, just weird. So that's all I got for this week. I did start a couple of books. I am reading An Easy Death by Charlaine Harris. I'm really invested in that now, mostly because there is a hold after me for the large print, and it's due in a couple of days, so I gotta really get cracking. So I'm working on that, and I am also, let's see, I'm also working on The Lady's Handbook for Her Mysterious Illness by Sarah Ramey. Not sure about that one yet. I'm really liking what I've read so far, but she's only 100 so pages and I'm about a quarter in, and I don't know, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Hopefully I'll finish that this week and I'll be able to talk about it next week. So anyways, I hope you were all doing well. Oh my gosh, I forgot about the song of the week. I think like 2 people click on it, but whatever, I don't care. I enjoy it, so you're getting it anyways. So like I said, I've been listening to a lot of music on iTunes and stuff, and I'm going to put some Solomon Burke on here. I don't know the song exactly yet because I really like Solomon Burke. I might just do Cry to Me because it's from Dirty Dancing, and that was the first time I really heard him and was like, oh my gosh, I love this guy's voice, you know, whatever. I might do something else, I don't know, but it will be Solomon Burke for sure. He was at the Apollo back in the day. Here for it. So that's the song of the week, is Something by Solomon Burke. Anyways, hope you're all doing well. I hope you're staying safe and healthy, and you're reading something fantastic. And yeah, I guess that's it. I will talk to you in the comments below, and I hope you have a fabulous week. And I'm just waffling now, so I'll see you guys later. Bye.